evening. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Oh, I thought I might have forgotten something. Yep. Alright, so I did a little bit of data updates. I moved this line down a bit. I did some data experiments with placing other related boons and like shout prerequisites, which I don't think I support other gods' traits in one god's area. So maybe that's going to be a challenge. And I tweaked Zeus to do areas here. Now, we don't appear to support circle fills right now. So we have to investigate how that shows up in the data and what we need to do that. I think I might need to do some color adjustments with this. It's not super clear whether it's active or not. And then I kind of have the design problem that this looks good, but it looks out of place to be the only one. So maybe I need to have the dim version be even more dim or something. So first of all, we have the case of the missing circles. What can we say about you? There's something in the not cast. Hey, there's a hatch in not cast, so it does cut down as a hatch. Right, but I currently have both the hatch and the circle on. That is not a circle. Okay, so 0 hatch, 5, whatever. So I think we have some stuff for hatches in the sense of like polylines. Okay, I never put it in here. This is DXF to code. Well, that's the general DXF decoder. Then we have layout, decode DXF, hatch entity. Every 72 boundary data is what we're looking for. I see a 10, 20, 30. So this is the fill type, which we don't necessarily need. Well, there's a 72. Maybe this is type circle, which we don't support. 10, 20, 40. Maybe a start end. $73. No, here's a circle. So that's probably something else. All right, so boundary data. Okay, so 2 is a boundary arc. Why we no parse you? Or not parse you correctly, anyway. Could I actually see into this? Problem, of course, there's several other gods in here. All right, we're not even parsing this right now. Boons generated. And do we actually have this as a list of gods? Well, if we do, it's probably in traits. Where would determine which TXFs to load? Oh, it probably actually comes from the list of gods in the traits. Map fetch TXF. Now this is actually going to be like the last one. All right, that might cut out a little bit of stuff. So we do indeed have one boundary arc. Unfortunately, it's a function, which isn't too helpful. So what do we do when we start trying to draw this? Boundary arc. Okay, so it's got a center, it's got a from angle. That might work out to 6.28, but it's in kind of a weird format. We might have to be trying to round some of those numbers to a point that it gets rid of it. Okay, 6.2. Now this is where... Ooh, okay. Previously, it has been a full-fledged circle. And we've had a circle type to deal with that. We're converting this to Beiser splines, which only handle things up to 90 degrees. We have a hook in there to break it up into two 90-degree sections, but this is larger than anything we've dealt with before. And this function says it returns a path segment, which we can't easily swap for a circle. Is there a handy library function for floating point near equal? Nope. Don't see any pre-existing handlers for that. We could try to detect that very large circle and break it up into more pieces. We could try to detect that it's a circle and just do a circle. The ultimate special case. I could go into the editor and break it into at least 2 sections so that it's a standard set of arcs. So the idea that this is a path flows through this entire thing down to here. And areas are the only things that we do fills on right now. So I can't just convert it back into a standard pintle circle. Area circle. If we detect the angles are wide enough. So I think it's technically a multi-element path with only one element. So we have to figure out where we wanted to check that. Or you have to be converted to work on loops. You see, right now we're doing a thing that's exactly the middle. If angle is greater than tau divided by 2, then we actually subroutine this thing. Problem. I guess the end of this is end A. So really, we just need... Oh, you take an archetype. Center equals center, radius equals radius, from angle equals, so we would have done end A to midpoint. Winding equals winding. So at this point, this first point is already known. The second one we're going to basically throw out. Oh, two angle. The angle is, okay, these are just like end angle. So I definitely didn't even need to do the points here. If we go down this path, I could have, short circuited back here somewhere. Does not render. From angle to angle. From angle... it doesn't seem like we've cut anything down. Oh, this may be a case where it's not exactly... Well, it's very much greater than. Oh. But we actually say if odd angle greater than pi, which means we don't even have the means to deal with this. Or it could not actually cut it down. Then, of course, we have to answer how often this happens in reality. I think it might happen because of weird wraparound math. It's like, oh, we really meant to go around the other way. So we're simply removing this. Well, this does give us a means to divide that now. But I think the problem we were having was actually that we were kind of going around backwards. Okay, we need to actually not do this, though. First, don't crash. Huh, I thought it had stopped when it first hit the recursion thing. Really? How is that greater than you? I guess I just hadn't reloaded yet. Okay. We've got a from angle 6 to angle 9 here. I guess that works out to there. Odd angles, no, that's one full circle, but it's greater than half a turn. All right. If this should be the only circle that's coming through here. Before, I'd swear we're only getting... Oh, because we're streaming in the actual files. And what we've seen is that right now we are actually loading this. Because we're streaming in the actual files, it's doing multiple renders. Three, 6 to 9. What's that nonsense? And probably something that's been pushed around by rotation, but still. Well, that's a slightly different number. I wish I knew what you were associated with. Because I thought there was only one of you. So this has no information. This knows the trade ID. No, the trade ID is there. Knows the group ID. Oh, actually, good thing that was blocking out my group. No, set group ID. Not necessarily. Well, no, the boon connector has a group. Actually, I probably had that before. But I probably wasn't pulling out that field from the arc. That's from a connector. Okay, so I have a no dash and a no dash and a no dash and a not cast and a no dash and a no dash and a no dash and... Is there really that many renders? I feel like no dash is... Well, we know there's stuff in Dionysus. You don't have a no dash. Okay. But these should all be smaller ones. Five to eight? I can't really get into these things. Ten, 20, 30. Is it like start angle and end angle? So actually, we don't use those fields. Solid. We're looking for 50s? Is this actually just defined differently? Well, I shouldn't have been able to construct an archetype without a value. Okay, so that's other stuff. Okay. 10, 20, 40, 50, 51. So what am I doing? That's getting me like 5 and 8. Okay, so 5 is one full turn. No, is it higher than that? Five, 2, 8. Oop, wrong window. The 3 corners makes sense. I guess if a full turn is 6, then adding some other rotation to it could get you to 12. $3.14 is actually a half turn and a quarter turn. Okay, so that makes sense. No dash, no dash, dash, no dash. No dash, no dash, no dash, no dash, 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 dash. Okay. So it's repeating this for a couple iterations of things. So nothing else should be... Well, unless this is like just failing the greater than half test. But still wouldn't be greater than full. But we've done all our math with halves. I guess the real point here is that I don't actually have to care about greater than tau. Now we've got another thing for work angle. And I guess this is another point where we're minorly concerned about the other things. -1, -5. I see, this is only checking for positive. But that's full turn, not half turn, actually. All right, now odd angles, abs, abs, so that works. So I think that I don't... This is a nice safety blanket, but it's not actually necessary. So we test it down here. That doesn't feel quite right. Well, now we've got a from and a to. So that might actually be kind of in between those. I should be seeing no, we disabled splitting. Okay, not infinite. two slightly different angles. So we calculate this, and then we do it again to get it twice. Oh. That didn't necessarily work out for us, though. What the heck did you do? Well, I'm doing a bunch of angle conversions here that might be messing with me. I also don't know if I'm necessarily gluing the paths together correctly. These might not associate fairly well with how we do start points and things. Can we get one of these to work? Oh, and we can drop now. No, not you. I wish I knew what you were supposed to be. Well, this kind of feels like... This actually kind of feels like a flip issue. Oh, you know what? We did... Was I having to flip end A? No. It bothers me that we're not flipping it here. But that light did it perfect. I only threw out the end from the other one. How does that work? Gosh, I'm not even in partial loading, am I? That's a little bit weird. Right, I told it not to load traits for them, but we're just in generator right now. You know what? I bet I left this in some kind of experiment. Oh, you know what? I had a thing. That I may have forgotten to put back. Or rather, I thought that it was commented out and not actually used. R? Is what that does, right? Maybe it's not what we do at start, because that's still working. Rotation equals tau divided by 16. That is in fact 0. Okay. I don't know what got goofed up there. Why do you flip and the others don't? Maybe it's something weird with the exact points we're getting when we... Yeah, that's technically separate subcalls. It could have calculated some different points, but would it... Maybe, is there something in here that's doing a bunch of flipping? And then we have to unflip it because we do it twice? Hmm. 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 That seems to suggest we have unsaved stuff here. Although I don't think I've... If I changed anything on you. I know I was messing around with some stuff earlier. Yeah, now I don't know. Okay, well that thing's there. So I guess it's okay. Now we do have some data updates here, which I forgot to commit separately. Is that the only thing in public? All right, so the other thing... Oh, did I have you compiling? Did I? Oh, I didn't hit save, did I? Now you see... All right, we have the God symbols. We could figure out the God symbols. I did do a little bit of relative size tweaking in some of this stuff, like Athena. I pulled this out a little bit. So if we were able to use the position of the actual image, we can make sure things are lined up nicely. Of course, we can only do that as like a connector right now. Of course, what are we pulling out of layout? We are a layout with text placements, which are pretty much all, well, they're text entities for one, which are all the boons. We have a specific thing to get the layout radius. So we could just add another thing for background image. What does that look like? Image def, image. It's like an encoded path, isn't it? raster image def. Okay, so that's a different thing. Right, this is saying this is all the images we have. Oh, it's using that image? And maybe that's like a hex encoded version of the path or something? Or is that actual image data for some little icon? All right, well, the thing with the path should have an x and a y at 0, 0. This could be, I mean, Zeus, especially, this could be height and width. Ooh, okay. It's off by a little tiny bit. Well, if that's the height and the width of the image, do we have the height and width of the image? In a canvas, we do. But they need to get rescaled to scale. But it should have been 1 to 1? I still have to figure out how to import and export that path. Wait, are you ACD raster image def? Are you not entities? So 945. Well, I guess section. Oh, you were 9 something. So that's actually in an object. Is there a reference to you? There's an image def, ABC. Is that referencing to an image elsewhere? Class version, insertion point. And sec. Vector of a single pixel. Okay, so this is like for literal images. Reference to image def reactor object. Right, so what's the image type? It is a 1. So image def reactor is actually the next thing. Okay, so class image, HDD raster image 3 ISM. That's a leader code. So there's a raster image def, ACDB reactors. I mean, that looks like it actually has those attributes. And that's clipping state, not coordinates. We've got 11 and 12. A single pixel. Well, this is actually in a different section. So what section that is? It's an object. Resistant reactor, handle, image size. Defaults, oh, that's the size of 1 pixel. Image def reactor. No. Is it because it's at 0, 0 that it doesn't even have coordinates defined? It's like, oh, that's the default value. We'll just use that. That's only in WCS. Maybe this defaults to 0. So if we write an entirely new section, we could get the height and the width, which should be really the same as, well, we kind of use the images as a baseline. Oop. Shouldn't have actually changed anything there. Wait, did I accidentally delete data from my image? That's a text. So all we could do is get which image. So what could we do? And technically this is a case where we do have all of these loaded up and we could try to get the image references to them. Oh, that's from a JSON value. So it's not like we can just go get in a random image element. Textures. So we've got that. If we print the lock icon, we map append those two lists. Get the icon. What do we do? Technically, this is a view. Display God button. Display God icon. No, you get icon path. Traits God icon. This is given all of the gods. So that's that list. This is all the icon related things, although at this point, this isn't even a path. This is just a, or isn't it? It's just a path. So all of those, we get to the paths. Display God button is in display God, which goes in display gods, which is traits.all gods. Now you're mapping to display God, which does what? Really? Oh, there's probably something in metrics that's equivalent. That's probably the goes model. Or is it model.metrics? Or is it metrics.gods? Or is this already all gods? Array God metrics. So maybe we just have... Oh, God metrics might not have icons. Because we haven't needed that. Center angle. Well, it has God, which has what we need. Metrics.gods is an array, you say? All right, is this a DOM thing? Yeah, okay. And there they are. All right, so this is going to go down to like display gods. Display god. We've done... Oh, you're going to need the dictionary now. This is my helper. Yeah, this is my helper, which might not be appropriate here. Okay, you get all of metrics. Display god. Wait, metrics doesn't necessarily have textures. Textures was a separate argument. Now we're back to model. And textures is a dict string to a canvas.texture. Which needs to go to you. So that's a sibling of shapes. Okay, scale's a little bit off. I'm not sure how to get it on. I'm not entirely sure how to get it on. I guess just using a different size would be a start. That's a really arbitrary size, though. Oh, now you see, this was actually supposed to be on here. So Artemis actually does need to be a lot bigger. This must be something funny with the way it scales the images, because like Zeus was too big. Well, Zeus is the one we had size adjusted. That's too small. That's kind of too small. You're almost the right size, but you were a small one. And that's way too small. So, I think I have ways to get the height and width. But partly it's just this placement method is so awkward. What are we doing to... Oh, you know what? I probably made this image help probably make some assumptions about size. Well, no, okay. We get the dimensions. We scale based on the width only. which for the squarish things was fine. I'm not actually sure what to use here. We kind of want to... There's originally an image to a certain fixed size relative to the units of the thing. So I might have to get back into how we did that. Okay, so Artemis is closer. Zeus is way the heck too big. This needs to be max. So that's not quite right. That's not quite right. That's not quite right. I forget exactly where I put you. That's actually really close. And Zeus is a little off. And we actually do want to get fancier about this later so that it's visible like out here and then disappears when you go in. Probably needs to be faded altogether. All right, so I've been doing fit it within a certain space, which is, I guess, kind of what we inherited from SVG. This actually has to do with the scaling ratio. This goes back to layout. Does layout even have that? Do we carry that information around? Radius. Layout radius. When do we have that information last? So metrics is going to have all of the layout stuff, I believe. Display gods. You get the individual god metrics, so that's going to have the radius. So that's going to have something to do with this. I'm not quite sure how to translate that to this. I guess first of all, what is that just the number? Is it the pixel number? Is it a scaled value? Oh, this is not God metrics. This is layout information which gets digested into God metrics. Okay, we might have to carry that forward. Layout.radius. So there's a scale factor which goes into all of these things. We don't have a data item. So we have a basic constant for God radius. But that might be just a factor of 1. So if we take God metrics and add that field, so gods do a boon's angle adjacent distance. No, your chart metrics going in God mention center angle, focus angle, God name, color, boons, connectors. Okay, so this is the connector part. This is the basic boons of, and somewhere we construct, no, you're something else. Oh, do I not actually use this in where we return the God metrics? Or an input. Do we just implicitly construct this? It's an array of those. Something returns a chart metrics, so calculate metrics. Gods equals. Traits all gods. God, you don't currently have to bring up the scale factor for you. Is God radius local constant? No. Where do you come from? Adjacent distance divided by 2. That's times 2. Oh. This is the individual layouts. So this is not a top level thing. This is this data? No. Well, layout basic connectors of God. Oh, you don't have a layout. Oh. Data is... Right, we attach the layout information to the gods. Which means we might actually be able to get to it from there. Well, if from the god data. In the chart, we only get metrics at the moment. I could just pass down a scale factor at this point, probably. All right, so now you have a god metrics, which has a scale factor. Though I don't know if a scale factor is going to do it since we're adjusting by the height and the width. Yeah, I probably made that super teeny small or something. super teeny small. I mean, if they were images were a couple hundred, maybe that makes sense. But this says that we actually don't need to do some of this stuff, or we need to do it differently. I almost need to translate this back into some constant value, or scale it by whatever we scaled that by. Well, we might need to inline this for now. And we work this mess out and see if they can be made similar again. Okay, so we have a key. Nope. V around block. Excuse me. V around block. U. All right, so that's that. That's that. Do we have any other arguments? So there's textures. There was a size factor. Do I even need to scale you? I'd say I need to do something, yeah. Oh, you know what? Our raw canvas. No, we don't want to do an asymmetric scale. Okay, so that's a couple times too small. I'm not quite sure how to describe the way in which that's off. What do we throw in there to make that right? So we know this is a very, very small number. It's a bit of a surprisingly small number. But I guess we're taking large coordinates down to small coordinates. Centering is fine. Okay, that's in the neighborhood, but why? mean, that seems like a reasonable factor. So you're used in a geometry.scale. To like, absolutely place these things. Oh, okay. So that's part of it. We're doing coordinate system translations on this. Whereas the other stuff is absolute. Oh, that's sharp metrics, which we don't have here. Center, angle, focus. This all used to be relative size stuff. So you have a chart metrics. Chart metrics has an adjacent distance. I don't know if that's it, but it might be a little arbitrary scale factor. Okay, that is actually quite small. And it might not be perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay, so this was adjusted a little bit for space. So the only reason we put that scale factor through was to do this particular operation. And I think that's what we were using in here. Huh. Although the SVG had a different way of doing this, if we ever go back to there. That just specified the box to draw it in which case we might have a whole other type of challenge. Although it's kind of weird. It's like this is that, and then we're divided by adjacent distance. So I guess this is kind of like layout radius times 2. And then we divide adjacent distance out, so that makes that layout diameter. Well, I guess we're not... Well, scale factor is a thing that we use elsewhere, so I guess that's an okay thing to record. All right, now, can we fade that out? Well, texture has properties. Can we merge this? To merge that, I would have to give it just a scaling property. But this is looking up the height and width, which is used in this version. So I'd have to give it like a scaling function. This is always going to try to be relative, so I could pull this back out as a little helper, but you'd give it a scale instead of a size. Well, the size was trying to ape the thing set up by the SVGs as we were translating code. But these images are basically in the same units as our original radius. So you're going to be advanced. Ooh. Oh, this is in the transform block. All right, what we really want to do is kind of make this distant dependent. Do we have any zoom information here? I don't think we do. So what else we pass around for things that do deal with that? Basic boons. You get the size parameters. But all of these are we have large groups of things that are about the same size. This is going to depend a little bit on the per god sizing. What can we say about this? Does adjacent distance, I think, we're still printing here. Does adjacent distance change with zoom? No. And that's just some very small factors within the unit coordinate space. We probably want to do those around there and then fade out as we zoom in. all this stuff. Doesn't say anything about display size, but text, metrics, zoom. Oh no, this goes the wrong way. We want, I took the display off, but it's gonna be like 1 over zoom. And maybe I actually even want to, well, actually we know, having something here might be nice. Where's my, so we're doing this at about a 4 times zoom, which in theory should be about a 0.25 transparency. As we go in here, and this is a little weird because we've got the symbol is like overlapped with our boundary now. I almost wonder if I should be like just hook something in to brighten up his symbol instead of that thing, but then I have to like make the connection between those, which could be a little weird. So I either need to run this to a slightly different range or make it not linear. Okay, that's so not linear you can't even see it at all at this level. Okay, bad example. So up here, this kind of is kind of good at, you see it there, and then it fades out as you start to be able to see these. Might want a little bit more residual at this view distance. We just have an exponentiation operator. All right, so that would have been 2. Okay, faintly. This is lovely where you want to be able to see some detail. But we're already like barely visible. The exponent could be good, but we might need to tamp it down good a little bit. I almost want the linear back. Maybe slightly more than linear. Or I do more of a clamping tail thing. And actually, I think the icons almost need to be, well, you can get a little bit of stuff here. Ooh, yeah, at this level, that's kind of fading out, but I guess at that level, how much are you going to see anyway? Oh, this is kind of a signal that you have stuff, without these. The fact that you have lines there is a signal that you have things going on. Well, actually, at this zoom level, one of the other things I want to be doing is maybe replacing images with just colored squares that will stand out a little bit better. And we're thinking about other effects to highlight the ones that are active. It does obscure those a little bit. I think I would like to have a slightly higher base visibility level and find better ways to highlight the ones that are active right now. So it is hard to pick these out. I mean, I don't expect you, well, it gets a little bit better at a full screen type level. These need to get a little bit smaller at what happened there? Get smaller sooner? Hmm. What would be, I guess that would have, well, we want them to be bigger out here, so I might need a little bit more of a fade on those too. Actually, these are all blocked out, so technically we couldn't do that duo. It's in fact it's locked out. So this looks nice. It might muddy things up a little bit. Wait, what did I have? Oh, that was the one line where we tried to reuse the function. And then there's the text, which should be a bit more of a moot thing right now. I actually haven't had too much problem with the line formatting. The widths seem to hold up pretty good under different sizes. Oh, view, zoom, and somewhere we've still got our points on here. Oh no, this is the canvas origin. And we did something to Athena. I don't think I... Oh, yeah, we were looking at stuff on Athena. I don't think we meant to change anything. I put some test points in for these. The other god things is going to be a problem. The generic ones is going to be a question of setting some icons up and maybe putting in some fake boons, which have to be put into every god, so that's a little bit of the same problem again. I mean, I think we're actually kind of set on Hermes. I've forgotten what that's for. I might have actually done it. Maybe have an option to turn him off, so you can see the crossings easier. It doesn't participate in much duos. There's a little bit of interaction with a few things. Yeah, I'm not sure the brightness is gonna be a good indicator here because you kind of got stuff that's like connecting to the symbol, and the brightness changes even harder to differentiate now. Oh, and assuming we keep that, which is actually would have followed from something else, we drop that. I might want to actually set up a make for this at some point, although it's kind of done now. What are you connecting to? Yeah, you're connecting to the circle. So that is an ambiguous connection point. I had color here, but that's kind of not great. This one was a little bit ambiguous too. guess I was hoping for the tangent angle to make up for it. All right, so this is a big problem, big-ish problem. And I'm starting to feel not sleeping last night much, and I've been fairly good, but some of this deep thinking stuff might be a little challenging. So I might switch over to Smash Engineer for a while. But I like to break the VODs, they show up nice. So I'm going to do a quick reset. Yeah, and actually I guess I did start a little bit early tonight. But for the code, thanks for watching. If you want to hang out while we do probably just some base organizing and setting up a compound mine, I'm going to come back in a little bit. It'll take a minute to change channel settings and stuff. But otherwise, good night.